Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Thursday, August 11th, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. New York Giants vs New England Patriots. The New York Giants wrapped up their season holding a 4-13 record. In their last game of last season, the Giants played the Commanders and took a loss by a score of 22-7. Jake Fromm went 15-31 with 103 yards passing and 1 touchdown. He had a QB rate of 40.1 and ended the game with 2 picks. Kyle Rudolph had an average of 4.3 yards per catch by totaling 17 yards on 4 catches. Saquon Barkley was the leader on the ground for the Giants with 11 totes for 30 yards, 2.7 yards per attempt. In all, they ran 59 plays which gave them a total of 177 yards. The New York Giants ended up running the ball 25 different times and accounted for 94 yards, which earned them an average of 3.8 yards per tote. On the ground, the Giants conceded 226 yards on 37 tries, which is an average of 6.1 yards per rush allowed. New York Giants surrendered 9 pass completions on 18 tries for 99 yards and a completion rate of 50.0%. Our team pick is New England Patriots plus 2 points. And here is why. The New York Giants enter another season with optimism after upgrading the roster in many areas. They have depth at quarterback with the addition of veteran Tyrod Taylor. Overall, Daniel Jones has been a bit of a disappointment in his first 3 years in the NFL. The 2019 first-round pick accrued 24-28 passing yards, accompanied by a 10-7 TD to int ratio last year. HC Brian Daboll has stated all regulars will at least see limited playing time in the preseason opener. The New England Patriots do not have any questions at quarterback. Mac Jones was much better than anyone expected in his 2021 rookie season. The 23-year-old QB, who was selected 15th overall out of Alabama, delivered 3,800 passing yards, complemented by a 22-13 TD to int ratio, and should only get better. Jones did have an elite offensive line to help make things easier. The New York Giants have a completely different look on the coaching staff. They have a new head coach in Brian Daboll, as well as new offensive and defensive coordinators. These preseason games will be all about ensuring the players are acclimated with the new playbooks and schemes, so I wouldn't expect a smooth opening few preseason games from the Giants. Furthermore, the great Bill Belichick usually plays to win in the preseason. The Pats have registered a winning record in 3 consecutive preseasons. They are a stellar 9-2 in their last 11 preseason games. Pats backup QB Brian Hoyer has been in the league a long time, and they have an interesting third-string QB in Bailey Zappe, who accrued nearly 6,000 passing yards in college last year. Our total pick is under 33 points, and here is why. New England hopes to reach the pinnacle once again in the AFC East, and that will start with quarterback Mac Jones and the Patriots offense, but don't expect to see Jones play all that much during the preseason. New England has a new play caller in Matt Patricia after losing Josh McDaniels to Las Vegas. Brian Hoyer re-signed and will be a good teacher to Jones as his backup. Bailey Zappe was drafted in the 4th round by New England and is expected to see plenty of time under center during the preseason. Most preseason games tend to have low scoring in the first week as teams' offensive systems are not at 100%, especially because of starting quarterbacks, running backs and wide receivers not playing at all or being very limited in minutes. The total has finished under at 4 of the last 5 times that New York has visited New England, although those were regular season matchups. Tennessee Titans vs Baltimore Ravens. The Tennessee Titans finished the year having earned a 12-5 record. In their last game of last season, the Titans faced the Bengals and went home with a loss by a final score of 19-16. Ryan Tannehill went 15-24 with 220 yards through the air and 1 TD. He had a quarterback rate of 66.7 and ended the game with 3 picks. Donta Foreman was the rushing leader for the Titans with 4 totes for 66 yards, 16.5 yards per attempt. Julio Jones held an average of 10.3 yards per reception by recording 62 yards on 6 receptions. The Tennessee Titans ended up rushing 27 different times and tallied 140 yards, which had them averaging 5.2 yards per carry. Overall, they tallied 52 plays which totaled 353 yards. Tennessee allowed 28 pass completions on 37 attempts for 280 yards and a completion rate of 75.7%. Against the run, the Titans conceded 65 yards on 18 attempts, which is 3.6 yards per run allowed. Our team pick is Baltimore Ravens minus 3.5 points. And here is why. Tennessee finished the regular season 12-5 and earned home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs last season thanks to wins over Buffalo and Kansas City. Of course, things didn't go their way in the playoffs as the Titans put the game in the hands of Ryan Tannehill and the passing game as opposed to the league's fifth best run game. Tannehill threw 3 interceptions, including one that set the Bengals up for the game-winning field goal in the final second, and the Titans were done. Speaking of gone, both starting receivers from a season ago, Julio Jones, Buccaneers, and A.J. Brown, Eagles, are no longer with the team. Robert Woods was picked up from the Rams but is recovering from a knee injury. Tennessee drafted QB Malik Willis from Liberty, along with WR Treylon Burks from Arkansas. RB Hassan Haskins will be slotted in to provide another physical back to work with Derrick Henry. Willis will get a chance to prove he can unseat Logan Woodside as the number 2 QB on the roster starting here. Losing offensive lineman Roger Saffold III and David Quessenberry means that the team is going to have to make some changes there as well. That's not good news for Tannehill, who was sacked 47 times last season. Baltimore was cruising along in the first 11 games of the season as the team was 8-3 and atop the AFC North. Things went downhill from there as injuries, including one that sidelined Lamar Jackson, proved to be too much to overcome. Baltimore dropped their last 6 games, 5 of those by 3 points or less, to finish 8-9 and suffer their first losing season since 2015. The Ravens have some holes to try and patch up at this point. They traded wide receiver Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals, while Sammy Watkins left as a free agent. Veteran running backs Latavius Murray and Devonta Freeman departed as well, leaving the team to sign Mike Davis as their veteran back following a failed attempt to get Melvin Gordon 3. Defensively, the loss of Derek Wolfe, the late Jalen Ferguson, Brandon Williams and L.J. Ford have created some cracks in a formidable front seven. So, with this being the first preseason game for both teams, you can expect a lot of second, third and fourth string guys taking the field in this contest as the coaching staffs are more focused on seeing what backup guys could be worth sticking around. That's especially important here as there are only 3 preseason games now instead of 4, limiting the number of opportunities for guys to make an impact. Huntley acquitted himself fairly well down the stretch last season with the Ravens as he held his own in his starts. Tennessee has a lot of question marks at the skill positions and it's going to take time to figure out who fits in where. Baltimore has reeled off 20 straight preseason victories. Playing at home with a little more continuity, you have to give the Ravens the edge in this contest. Our total pick is over 31 points. The Baltimore Ravens are coming off a disappointing season too, but not for the same reasons as the Titans. The Titans disappointed in the playoffs while the Ravens didn't even get there, finishing 8-9. But to be fair, the Ravens were absolutely decimated by injuries last season on both sides of the ball. Considering all the injuries, they performed about as well as could be expected. All-Pro quarterback Lamar Jackson and the former MVP had a subpar season, playing only 12 games. Most of his weapons were out for big chunks of the season, so he will be looking to get back to his MVP form this season. In relation to their ability to score points, the Ravens sat 17th in football, maintaining an average of 22.8 points per outing. Throughout last season, the Ravens earned 3,961 yards via the pass, in addition to averaging 233.0 passing yards per outing, giving them a rank of 13th in football. They held an average of 145.8 yards per game via the rush and ran for 2,479 yards overall.